Most agents fail not because they can't sell, but because they actually quit before the conversation even starts. You see, we all know the cliche, the fortunes and the follow-up, but as you're going to learn in this video, it actually is more than a cliche. It is literally the difference between staying stuck at average and breaking into the top 1%. And in this conversation, my guest, Sara Delansig with the Inside Sales Agent, she reveals why consistent follow-up is the single biggest lever in your business. She also tells you how to approach calls without scripts or sleazy tactics, and the mindset shifts that double your conversion rate. Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. If we haven't met yet, I'm Linnea Carver. I am a strategist for high achievers who refuse to settle for the generic cookie cutter strategies. My mission is to help you reach the top 1% in your field without burning out or selling out. So hit that subscribe button and ding that notification bell so you can be in the know of all new content. In the next few minutes, you'll discover why most agents sabotage themselves after the first call. You're going to learn how to master authentic conversations that actually get results, and more importantly, the mindset practices that turn call reluctance into your biggest competitive advantage. So let's get into it.
You know, you only become confident in something when you have become competent in it, and you only become competent in it when you have been consistent with it. I don't work within the confines of a script because that's not authentic, okay?
Agreed.
The first line of what I say is scripted, quote unquote. Me a whole bunch of phone numbers and all of them are bad, which has also happened to me. I can't do a whole lot with a whole bunch of bad phone numbers. What I can tell you is that I'm going to sort it and organize it and figure it out for you and tell you where you're at so that you can fix the problem. The people that don't follow up with their leads, I remember what it's like to be a brand new agent with no leads to follow up with.
Oh, Sara, this has been a conversation I have been excited to have. You and I have a great history, great story. It's kind of a funny story how it all happened. And like, I just love the space we're in now.
Me too.
Because I was like, building this out. I'm like, okay, who do I want on my podcast? Who do I think is going to bring a lot of value? Who do I think, is going to be able to, really help incorporate the vision that I'm trying to accomplish with my podcast, which is to help real estate agents, top executives, entrepreneurs, scale to that next level of their life, right? Kind of scale out of like the daily operation of their business and into that next level of their life. And so I'm glad you're here because I think you definitely have opportunity. You've helped a lot of agents in that category do exactly what I want them to do. So I thought, why not have a conversation about it?
Absolutely. Well, thank you for having me. I'm excited to dive right in.
I love it. Love it. So tell the audience, who are you? Where, like, why do you do what you do? Like, what got you here? Who are you?
Okay. Well, okay. I'll try to keep it short and sweet, but my name is Sara Delansig. I own the Inside Sales Agency, which is a boutique ISA company for busy real estate agents that mostly top producing real estate agents. But I do work with some smaller, solo agents, but mostly like big teams and stuff like that. And I created this business because I used to be the #1 salesperson at a real estate coaching company. And I loved the grind of it. Like I kind of got duped into the job, but then I ended up loving it. And I liked what I was doing. So eventually, I was like, I'll get my license and I'll go make the 350,000 GCI, instead of whatever I was making at the time, right? Which was minimum wage plus commission. But I was really good. So I got a lot of commissions. But anyways, so I
don't struggle with confidence.
No, there's no struggle there. That's the truth. But yeah, I mean, I basically started taking over that team and being like the head salesperson right away. But anyways, I did that for a long time. And then my best friend who worked with me there, she ended up passing away from COVID. And it was just not easy to go back into that environment without her, So I got my license and I thought I was going to go, crush it in real estate. And that's where enter Linnea, which is when we met, and I ended up being your assistant for a little while, which was awesome and also very informative, very educational, and gave me the reality check that I needed to understand like what it really takes to like be a real, top producing agent and like really giving it what it requires to make the 350,000 GCI or whatever. And that was kind of when I decided, like, I think we both came to the agreement that this is not for me
Yeah,
in that way.
your strength was you. One thing you did so well when you were working with me, which I'm kind of like, man, I wish you were still working with me. Was you were really, really good about like, I got you another appointment. I was like, oh my god, like there, and so that's why we just kind of knew it was like, that's where you should be.
Yeah, and that's what I always like because I like to get as many appointments as I can. I like to get everything done. I like my weekends off. I like my nights off. I'm not that agent that wants to go do open houses on a Sunday and a Saturday, So and I was showing homes and I got buyers under contract and I did certain things. But it was just too much for me. And I saw so many agents didn't know how to actually follow up. They did not know how to have a conversation. They didn't know what to do, how often to call, what to say when they called, what do you text, when do you do it, all those little things. And it just came so naturally to me. So I took everything I learned from you and from the real estate coaching and I created this business, and it was a great time to create it, which I found out I created my business on February. Okay. So it was 2/12/2022
Okay.
at 2:22 p.m.
Wait, how do you know the time that you got it created?
Because I have on my phone like a PDF of the business license that I applied for.
Okay.
And it has the minute. Yeah, it has it down to the minutes and the seconds that I applied for it. So yeah, so I thought, anyways, I thought that was kind of cool. But yeah, and everything was just popping off at that time, which you hired me and like a bunch of other people hired me. And I remember like I think it was in a March or April. I got you like 8 closings in 1 month, and that is like exhilarating for an ISA. And the market obviously has changed a lot since then, but it was super fun to do that, and that's where I'm at, and that's what I do.
I love it. I love it. So, like, is it safe to say that the most exciting part about your job is not picking up the phone? It's more about the end result of it?
Oh yeah, I mean that is what I do it for because like first of all, you have to understand that so many people hate what I do. So many people are like, I can't do that. It's terrible. Oh my God. Why do and they have a lot of anxiety around it. And it's not like I didn't have anxiety around it when I first started doing it, but I let my personality and my convictions shine through because when you're convicted in something, then you are going to say the right thing in the right way, in the right tone at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a huge benefit to me because I didn't have to have all these tricks and gadgets and ways of like manipulating people into doing things. I was just having conversations and being completely authentic with them. And then it turns into my benefit because these people actually want to talk to me. Whereas if I get on there and I'm like, hi, this is Sara Delansig and I'm with eXp Realty in Seattle. How are you today? Like, no, like bye, next, hang up, right? That's not how I treat it at all. So when I got those nuggets of people that are like, heck yeah, I want to talk to Linnea, absolutely, that would be so helpful. I would love a CMA. I would love this or that, right? Oh my gosh, that's when I'm like, it like just gives me that juice. Get me going.
I love that. That's a totally different breed of person, just so you know.
I know. Trust me, I know, because I had to hire for it, and it's damn near impossible. But
yeah, it's a totally different breed of person. Because I mean, I talk to real estate agents all day, every day, but not just real estate agents. It's not just the real estate industry. It is I think it's like the entrepreneur space in general. Like I will say, I think the people that I have found to be the best at following up are not entrepreneurs.
Really?
They're not entrepreneurs. No. In my experience, the best at following up are people who are like commission, like they're W-2 commission-based salary people or commission-based salespeople. And I don't know if it's something to do with the fact that like they're actually applying for that job. So they know that's what they know that that's what they want to do. There's probably also something to do with like the training aspect, a lot there to actually help set them up for success. But I've kind of found like in the real estate space, in entrepreneur space, the following up piece is like, we all know that fortunes in the follow-up, right? We all know that. That's a cliche for a reason. But it's like the one piece that people don't want to do, like text messages even. They don't want to text message, email, like phone call, anything. It's just like, it's fascinating. And so do you think there's a difference? Because you said you work with some teams, you work with some top agents, you work with some who maybe like smaller agents. Do you notice any patterns in like where they're at in their performance? Like what are the patterns? She's like, yeah, your face tells me the answer is yes.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. There are patterns. And it's interesting though, depending on the team, right? Like some teams will their way to success because they are driven so much by the numbers, so much by those accolades that they get for, making icon or for, just hitting their goals. And I think that's kind of what it was for me as well when I was getting paid minimum wage. It was not about the minimum wage at all. It was really about being able to do something that nobody else really was that good at and being able to do it really well. And then I wanted the $500 commission, but I also really believed in what we were selling, which was real estate coaching. And I think that everybody needs to have a coach. And so there was that. But as far as the teams versus the solo agents and stuff, solo agents tend to chase things that there's shiny object syndrome.
Okay.
Whereas like the larger teams are going to vet things. I actually just brought this up on my podcast today. And I was saying, like, if you are an agent and somebody says, hey, you should check out this thing. Like, I'm going to use Fellow as an example. And I'm sorry, Fellow, but I'm not that impressed. Just gonna say.
Don't hate us. But like this podcast is all about honesty and leverage, and you are allowed to feel the way you feel. So that's okay.
Okay. Well, you could block out who I just said if you want to, and that's totally fine by me as well. But I'm gonna tell you what, people are incentivized to refer people to a certain product, right? And I think that because you sign a 12-month contract, you're going to be more incentivized to tell everybody that it's working and that it's great because you want a discount on the beefy 12 months that you just spent on it. And I'm not calling anybody out on this, but I would say that the bigger teams are going to be more likely to really look and analyze the 6 months. Like, don't tell me to go buy something unless you've had it for 6 months and you can give me the metrics on it to show me, is this actually doing what we think it should do? Now, that's the different mentality because the bigger teams and they're so busy though. Like, there's good and bad on both sides because the smaller people, they're way more communicative. They're easier to get a hold of. I don't have to like chase them down to book a listing appointment or anything like that. So, and the bigger teams though, they're going to be a lot smarter about the ROI. They're looking at the metrics. They're looking at all the like numbers and the figures and how that's going to come back and help their team. So,
Right. I kind of notice the same thing because, I work with like in my space, I haven't really talked about who I work with very much at all, but a little bit, right? But I work with people like some, like I don't work with a lot of teams, like husband and wife teams, right? But not like big teams. But I definitely work with people who are kind of at what I would call like the foundational phases of their journey and the people who are at the scaling phases of their career. And I will say like the massive difference between the people who are at the, I would say these are top 1%ers. I've got top 1%ers and people who are a thriving or aspiring top 1%ers. So people who are the top 1%ers is very similar to what you said. Sometimes it's harder to get a hold of them. Sometimes it's harder to pin them down to do the work that I need them to do. But overall, they tend to look at things differently. Look at things differently. It's a zoom out look at their business versus like, let me chase. And really like, I would say like the biggest benefit the biggest difference I see between them is like how they make decisions, how they make decisions. Because like the smaller ones, like, they're getting income, right? And there's not a lot of like budgeting around their income. They don't really budget. So they just get a big commission check and then just throw money at whatever solution, whatever Band-Aid fix is going to be there. And then like, that's actually when they can scale out of that is when they become the top 1%, right? Like that's what I actually looked up on Google today. I was like, what is the definition of a top 1% agent? Because what is the actual definition of it?
I mean, they're at the top 1% in their field of how like buy sides and all of that, like how much they actually produce. But you could just sell one house for 20 million and you might be able to get up there, right? So who
Right.
knows?
Right. Like, exactly. But that's why I'm like, sitting here, I'm like, what is the, okay, I'm going to read you the definition of top 1%.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay, so let's see if these are let's see if this is what you're on too. Okay, so top 1%. Basically, defining a top 1% real estate agent isn't about an arbitrary number. So although high earnings are an indicator, it's a combination of several factors. Okay. So that's why it's hard. Like, what actually is top 1%? High sales volume, transaction efficiency, market knowledge and expertise, exceptional client service and building relationships, business acumen and sustainable practices, potential financial metrics. Okay. So basically, in essence, a top 1% real estate agent is a highly skilled professional who consistently delivers superior results for their clients, builds a strong reputation through exceptional service, and leverages their expertise to excel in the competitive real estate market.
All right, I'm down with that. That sounds very accurate to me.
That sounds like a top one. Consistency, right?
Consistency.
So if you think about it, if you shift that, you are really helping agents, whether they're top 1% right now, you're really helping them become the top 1%, because consistency and follow-up is the one thing, that's this whole thing, right? People who are paid by a company to be in sales tend to do better because their income is dependent on whether or not they pick up the phone and make the call.
Yeah, but that's exactly
right. And so the top 1%, you're helping people understand, look, you might not be at the top 1% right now, but we're going to make you a top 1% agent. So you should just throw that into your little tagline. I turn real estate agents into top 1% agents, because that's what you should.
I have thought, when someone signs up for my ISA company, there's a whole, I'm not just the ISA company that you can go sign up for, right? I am not whatever those other companies are, I'm not going to name. You can't just go online and book a call and hire me. I am going to vet you the same way that you're going to vet me and make sure that we are on par, because there are some people that I have refused to work with. They think they know it all and they're treating me like I'm the hired help. But I've also thought, there is absolutely an element of coaching in this. And even with the guy, one of my top teams, who is a No.1 team on the East Coast, they have doubled what they've done. I've been with them for over a year now, since I joined, and they did not have their systems in place at all when I started working with them. They didn't do anything with video, and now they're getting people chasing them down on TikTok and on Instagram with their videos. I am super impressed by it, and it all came from your ideas and some of the stuff that you taught me about, really getting that know, like, and trust factor through video. And so when I told this person that, they ended up finally implementing that, hiring someone to take videos of them all the time. And now they are obsessed with it, because it's really where their leads come from, even though they pay for all the other stuff too. But it gives them already a built-in know, like, and trust factor, and the leads are chasing them down because they already, align with them.
Right. It's crazy. It's crazy. How simple something like following up can do for someone's business.
It's crazy. Honestly, I mean, that is, you would think that it would come in naturally. I thought that, but also you got to understand, the people that don't follow up with their leads, I remember what it's like to be a brand new agent with no leads to follow up with. Okay. There is a different, if you have 10,000 contacts in your database and you're not in there, sorting and organizing and updating and reaching out, what are you doing? What are you doing? You paid for that. You're just letting sit there. That makes no sense to me.
I agree. I have the same conversation with some of my clients. I'm like, so in fact, I just talked to someone today. I'm like, so how much do you pay on this service? Oh, I pay $1,000 a month. Okay. And how much are you actually getting from it? Well, I would probably get more if I actually followed up. And where else is spending $1,000 a month with no return, socially acceptable?
It's typically not, which is why, I think it's interesting about some of the things out there for real estate agents because there is a lot. Okay, when you put your name out there that you're a real estate agent, I don't know how many Google calls a day you get, but I get it. I was getting it constantly until I finally removed my phone number from it because it's one after the other telemarketers just trying to sell you something, and now my email's blowing up with it too. Like there are so many things out there. At any event you go to, you're going to see all kinds of crazy stuff. So I personally think if you are going to invest in anything for your real estate business, look at the track record. Make sure that whoever's telling you that you should go get it because they just got it, make sure they have it for 6 months and then show you what's up, then tell you what's going on. That's what I think.
It's actually funny. I have people call me all the day, like not just like telemarketers, of course, but like I actually have people, agents that I work with on any level, asking me what I think of X product. And I literally every day. Yesterday, I got someone yesterday, and she's like, "What do you think of this?" And I'm like, "Well, I think that's a bunch of like personally, I feel like that's a waste." And so I think like you probably see this a lot. Like it's going to lead to this. We have shiny object syndrome, right? We have distraction oriented, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like you have all of these companies coming out, all of these coaches, I mean, coaching, yeah, I mean, same thing, right? All of these coaching, all of these ISA services, all of these people coming out who are like, let me make your life better. And I like to call them Band-Aid fixes. The latest one that I've seen a lot of is VA services, like tons of virtual assistant services. And I'm a huge proponent for not hiring a VA service. Like I teach people specifically within my program how to plan, prioritize, hire, write the job description, train them, onboard them, treat them. I literally have a whole program that goes through and teaches them how to hire a VA, hire and source a VA, what to pay them, like everything, right? And I think like what happens in our industry is we start to like have all these Band-Aid fixes. We have all these Band-Aid fixes. It's like, let me just like put a Band-Aid on it. So my question really is like, technically, like someone could look at you as an ISA and be like, well, you could just be a Band-Aid fix, right? So how do you overcome that when people think that, or has anyone ever said that to you?
No one's ever said that to me. But like I said, I'm very like selective in the onboarding process, or like even before you get to onboarding, right? Like in the process of discovering whether or not we're going to be a good fit to work for each other, work with each other. So I always ask them about their metrics, like their data, like what are you closing right now? What are your goals? So for example, for my guy on the East Coast, right? Like he said he wanted to be at this certain level, and and he wasn't there, and the ISA he had wasn't setting any appointments, and he didn't know how many calls a day they were making or anything like that. And so I came in with a plan. Okay, this is X. I'm going to do this, this, and this, and this, and then you're going to do your part. Well, you run into issues. Now there can be issues because if I'm doing my part, but you're not doing your part, this is why it's a collaboration and why I'm very selective on who I work with. If you're not doing your part and I'm setting these appointments and you're not hitting them out of the park, then the commission that we agreed upon that I'm supposed to get for whatever, which is the situation I have with more of the bigger teams, right? Now I'm upset because now I've sat here and like worked my ass off to make sure that like I'm texting these people late at night or early in the morning because you're on the East Coast and we're trying to figure things out to get this all set up. And then if you're not actually going in there to close it, then we have an issue. And I'm not saying that's what happened with this, but there are people on the team, right? So now we have to talk about how do we get that to work out. So if anybody ever says that I'm a Band-Aid, I'm going to be straight up with them. Like, look, I'm not promising you anything. What I can promise you is that I'm the best at what I do. I hire the best. I know what I'm talking about. I have evidence and critical skills to prove it. And if you want the best, then you can come this way. Can I promise you that you're going to get 10 closings in a year? No, I can't promise that.
Because it's not up to you.
It could.
It's not up to you.
Yeah,
They're getting the closing. Right.
Exactly. But I can promise you, like at the same time, if you give me a whole bunch of phone numbers and all of them are bad, which has also happened to me, then I can't do a whole lot with a whole bunch of bad phone numbers. What I can tell you is that I'm going to sort it and organize it and figure it out for you and tell you where you're at. So that you can fix the problem. Because if you don't have someone like me doing that, then what you're doing is probably paying for a bunch of junk
Right.
Anyway, so at least you'll figure out what the problem is. So not necessarily like a Band-Aid, but there are Band-Aids out there. And I wouldn't say that coaching is one of them, just so you know.
No, I agree.
And I wouldn't,
I agree.
yeah,
I don't think I
yeah,
think coaching is. I mean, it's a long term commitment, right? Like people, like
yeah.
if you really want, like I am a coached person. I have a lot.
Yes, you're very coached.
I am very coached. I have a
You
lot
are
of
very
coaches, right? But the thing like I found with coaching has been like it's made a big difference not only in my business but in like the way I think, the way I operate as a human, like as a general human. And so that's where I think like the value in coaching really comes from is like I like got it kind of like you. I mean, I don't I don't know how much your services are. I'm not asking you, but I don't think you're cheap. You're the cheapest on the block, right? Like people are you're gonna get what you pay for when it comes to services, coaching, etc. So I love that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I have a question for you because people are gonna ask this question. So like what's when you're calling and you're setting an appointment, do you have like a script that works all the time that you could, drop a little nugget for people? Hey, if this conversation is sparking ideas for you and you want to know how to scale with less stress, I want you to grab my free time audit worksheet. The link is right down there in the description. And it's going to show you exactly where your hours are going and where to take control of your time so that you can focus on high value actions like follow-up. So check it out in the description below.
I don't necessarily have a script, but yes, I say it over and over and over again, so it could be a script. But I don't work within the confines of a script because that's not authentic. Okay.
Agreed.
Yeah. So for me, the first line of what I say is scripted, quote unquote, right? But it's more like this. I'll be like, let's just say I'm calling you because you're a luxury expired you listing person that I sent a beautiful package to, right? Okay. So I'd be like, hi, Linnea. I know this might sound strange, but my name is Sarah. I work with XYZ company, blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. And recently you should have received a package from us regarding your Carlsbad home. Just want to see if you got that. Does that sound familiar? So that's kind of how I do it. But I really I lower their the threat level by I'm like, this is going to sound a little strange. I'm not going to lie. Like, just go with this for a second. And if you want to hang up on me after I explain what's going on, then fine, totally fine. But so that's kind of been my approach lately because I found it works pretty well. I don't know that it would work 3 years ago that way. It was a little bit more fast paced and you need to get to the point because people are not, but now I can be like, you can have a little bit more. It just depends on the area, but that's how I would approach it. I'll be like, hey, I know this might sound strange. This is what the situation is. And then from there, I just have a conversation. The goal obviously is to find out, do they want to list their home again? If they do they have an agent? If they don't, is there anything that we could help them out with, right? Like that kind of thing. Are they planning on doing it in the future? Blah, blah, blah. And so I just take all the things that are natural conversational skills, and I just try to figure things out.
Yeah, I think that's an indicator. That's key right there, right? Like natural conversational skills. Do you find that people that you work for, your clients tend to like clam up when you tell them to have just regular conversations with people?
People just don't, they don't know how to do that. I think they get once they get somebody on the line, because look, only 10% of the people usually pick up the phone. Okay. So once they actually get someone on the line, then they might totally, go one way or another. They might have, heart palpitations and be like, oh my God. Right. And so that's where, you only become confident in something when you have become competent in it, and you only become competent in it when you have been consistent with it. Right. So you have to start with consistency to become competent, to become confident. And then that's what you build on. So anybody that's like, oh, I don't know how to make a call, or neither did I. You think that I was just sitting there like, hey, you want to go to this real estate coaching event? Da, 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 da. Like, it didn't come out like that. I would 45 minutes to and from work, I would practice that first introductory, what am I going to say? And then from there, I know the goal is to try to get their email so that I could send them an invitation, or whatever it was. Right. So or set up a coaching call or something like that. So,
I actually just got off a call with someone else, and she was talking about something very similar, how it's all about like the invitation, right? Like all you're doing is you're calling and you're inviting someone to, look at information that was sent to them, or you're inviting someone to give you feedback about whatever it is, right? You're inviting someone to take advantage of an offer that they raised their hand for, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, and so she basically said, like, what you exactly just said is like, you just have to get comfortable inviting people.
Yeah. And not only that, I would say there is a huge, okay. I would say 90% of this really comes back to beliefs and mindset. What
All
you
the time.
Yeah, I know. And if you are one of those people that's like, I'm sick of hearing about mindset, well, you are the one that needs to hear it the most right now. Okay. Because if you're sick of hearing about mindset, then your mindset must suck. Because honestly, if you got it, you would understand that, like, for the last 2 weeks, I've been trying to do something different. Because it's not the greatest market, and I don't want to say it that way, but I'm going to use that right now. In my head, there's a great market and everybody's answering the phone and everything. But for about 2 weeks, I have been doing this thing before I make my calls where I'm saying I am attracting aligned buyers and sellers that want to work with me, that want to work with my clients. I am attracting the right clients who are capable of paying. Like, I am like a beacon, okay, for the people that are meant and can transact, okay, that are ready to transact, that want to transact. And I've been doing that. And I'm telling you, my numbers have gone double in the last 2 weeks. The first week, it wasn't all that great. I'm not going to lie, but you got to push through it. And you'll find that that part of it is huge, because if you are wanting those things to happen and you're calling them in and you're focusing on that instead of, oh my God, they might hang up on me, they might yell at me. You know how many times I've been yelled at? I have had some weird conversations with I've had a 14-year-old, I think, like, cuss me out. I'm like, that's odd. But still, I mean, yeah. I've had somebody tell me that they were so high on the Las Vegas Strip that I needed to come pick them up. And I'm like, I'm just trying to figure out if you...
That's hilarious. Like, I think those are good stories to tell, though, because I think sometimes people think it's going to be scary, but like, that was probably just really funny. You're just kind of like...
I was like, I really wish that I actually were in Las Vegas so that I could do something. But he's like, I just took too much acid and I'm on the Las Vegas Strip. That was a couple years ago.
Oh
funny.
my gosh, that's funny. But you're so right about the mindset thing. Mine lately has been, I'm writing it. It's right here in my planner.
Yes.
I am the go-to catalyst for anyone ready to break through barriers, reach their full potential, and achieve ultimate success. So I literally like tell myself that every morning. And then just like you, it's like, getting more confident and just reaching out to people, like inviting people, right? So being consistent, like, okay, I'm going to do one every day. One becomes two becomes four becomes eight becomes 16. And all of a sudden, like, I'm reaching out to people and I'm like, okay, now I can do, why didn't I do this before? It makes you kind of feel like, that was so easy. How come I just didn't do this before? So like, I agree. I think the mindset's really important. And so, who cares if someone is not into mindset? I mean, that's probably not this audience. So
probably not.
Yeah. So I imagine that everybody that's in this audience or is going to choose to stay in this audience is a very mindset focused person, because you are not the only guest that I have talked to that has talked about mindset. Every single one.
It really comes. It changes your life like that. I can't even stress enough the affirmations, the gratitude, the visualization, the things that you can do. I lay in my bed and I visualize, I go down the list of all of my clients and all of the people that I'm going to call for that day. And I visualize them calling me and being so excited and telling me, Sarah, I got the listing, or Sarah, we closed on that listing, or whatever the case may be. I'm like, that's what I love. That's what I do it for. And so I envision those and now I'm creating it.
Yeah. You can't create something unless you first have a vision for it. Just ask Steve Jobs.
Right.
What do you think is that, like, what's your biggest client win?
So there's been a lot, but I would say, I'd say that month of 8 closings for you, I don't think I've ever topped that. I'll be honest. I mean, other than for, I'm sure I've had that for some big teams. But they have like 20 agents on their team. So it's a little different, but you, getting 8 closings for you, that was huge and a really big milestone. Other big wins, like I mean, it's not what you think though. Okay. It's like taking a team that was totally doing, everybody was an individual and not a team, doing their own thing, but using the resources of the team leader and the team, and uniting them and getting them SOPs, getting them organized and getting them all, working together and following the SOPs. Cause oh my gosh, that took time. I'm talking about like nobody was using the CRM. Nobody was putting notes in it. Nobody was, updating statuses or stages. And now they are. And so that's a huge win for me. Having clients start having, buyers and sellers contact them because of videos that they made, because I encouraged them to do that. That's another big one. But obviously, I've gotten like windy, like $10 million listing before, or once or twice. So there's those ones too that are exciting.
Yeah. But I mean, the win, like I like your win of like the non-tangible. Cause I think like we're so drawn to the tangibles, which is why lead generation companies like do so well. Cause like, oh, I'm going to get you X amount of closings. And so that's like, obviously it's a tangible thing. But like the intrinsic value is really like what people don't see, right? They don't see like what it takes to actually get a team to start operating together. They don't see like you have to shift mindset for all these people. Like I actually had someone yesterday, I don't know if it was yesterday, but whatever. She was in our Discord channel, which I don't know if you're in. You should get in their Discord.
I am.
Okay. Yeah, I had someone get in our Discord channel, and she was talking about how they just got another listing appointment, their highest listing appointment they've had. But the thing that wasn't the win. That wasn't the win, right? That's a tangible win. But what I loved was like, she said specifically, I feel so confident in my price, in my value. And I feel so confident going to this listing presentation, asking finally for what we deserve to do, to earn. And like, that's a mindset shift, right? That's shifting from like, I'm just a real estate agent who's going to sell your house to like, I deserve to help you. We're gonna decide, but I deserve to help you, and because I deserve to help you, I deserve to earn X amount of compensation. And so I think like that was like for me the biggest win, and it's really relatable to what you just said, because you can't put value on that.
No, you can't.
Yeah,
but it like completely shifts, because now when she goes into the next one, she's gonna have so much more confidence. Yeah, exactly, and that's priceless. It is priceless to be able to take somebody from the point where they're looking, everywhere for answers and they're not sure what to do. Because I'm sorry, you could go to any podcast, you Google or go on YouTube and type in real estate podcast, and you're going to get a different response on how to follow up with people. I know for certain I've paid for things that are completely opposite of how I do things. Yeah. I've had people hire me that want me to do things a certain way, and I tell them, that is not the way that I do things. Like, you're going to find different things out there, and you got to find your tribe, your vibe, your tribe, and roll with it.
Go with those people. Okay, debunk a myth for me. I just read a stat, and I can't remember where it was from, but I just read a stat that it takes, in 2025, it takes 28.7 follow-up attempts to convert a real estate lead.
Okay, so are they considering attempts as emails, texts, and phone calls?
I assume so.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was 18 last I checked, but that's for my own situation.
That's your rates. Your rates are about 18 attempts.
Yeah, but okay. It comes and goes. Like, we're talking about warm-ish internet leads. And when I say warm, I just mean they provided information with a phone number.
Right.
So they're requesting some kind of information. But you're looking, like, I mostly pay attention to the timeline to transact, which is usually about 8 months. But sometimes you get those ones that are like unicorns and they're ready to go right now. And, but I would say 28 is probably the average. Now, the funny stat is that only 10% of agents actually make a second phone call or continue outside of the first initial one.
I know. I mean, I see it all the time. Oh, I called them once.
If they don't have busy lives too, and they're like,
right, everyone's busy right now, and like even like we actually see it too on Instagram, because we do a lot of conversations on Instagram, And like, I actually have someone who helps with conversations on Instagram, and she's like, well, I sent them a message, and I'm like, but do you realize that they're busy? They're very busy people. And the last thing they're probably doing is thinking about checking Instagram to talk to someone and talk to another account on Instagram. Right. So you got to like, sometimes it's also like, do you also think that it has to do with like kind of getting as much as you possibly can the first time you actually connect with them?
I would say it's building rapport, making authentic connections the first time you connect with them. Because if you make an authentic connection, like I still remember calls where people have told me, oh my gosh, you know what? I always hang up on people, but some reason, I answered this call and I'm glad I did. I've heard that multiple times, and it's because of the way that I approach it. So I don't ever want to come off as pushy. If I'm like desperate or pushy or manipulative or salesy, then people are automatically going to put their guard up. Right. So I say if you are coming in and you're like trying to just see where they're at, and you'll take it or leave it, whatever, I'm good either way, then usually people are going to remember how you made them feel if you are helpful. I had a guy call me back, that's just looking to go see a property, and they're calling me back, and they're calling me multiple times. So it's because the first time I talked to him, he's like, I want to work with you. And so he's calling back.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm happy to help.
I love it. I love it. So much good stuff in here. So much good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love, like, I could talk about this kind of stuff all day, every day. Like business, like running a business is like my favorite thing to do. But I think, do you feel like now, because you kind of had a taste in the real estate, like specific role, right? And now you're in kind of like a different business that operates. Do you feel that there's a way that you think differently now about like your ISA business than because of your time in the real estate space? Does that question make sense?
Oh yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay. Absolutely. All right. So being a real estate agent is not just being a real estate agent. You are a business owner. You better be thinking like a business owner. You are the accountant. You are the stager. You are the cleaning person. I remember you and I were taking big ass things of garbage out to the sidewalk for one of your listings and getting it ready. And we're like putting stuff in storage, whatever you got to do, cleaning. Like there's so much that you do as a real estate agent, right? And if you can handle that and are able to do that, it's going to be easy to transition into like a business. But there is a totally different mindset behind real estate. Like real estate gives people the opportunity to really make something out of themselves if they put in the effort, the time, the energy, the experience, the knowledge, if they educate themselves, if they hire a coach like you, those things, and they listen to you, because just hiring you isn't really what you want to do. That's not the end goal. But there is a big difference. And I learned so much, like when I don't think that I could have gone like directly from selling real estate coaching into this business without that time working with you to see what that was all about, and to learn that, okay, that's not my thing, but this is right. Because I mean, if you guys are in this for any amount of time and you have success, you should be patting yourself on the back, because it's not easy. And you should also really, embrace who you are, because people are going to want to work with different people. And I remember when I was looking for my real estate agent, I didn't just want to, like, I wanted somebody I could vibe with, like that is cool, like that I could hang out with. That's who I picked as a real estate agent the first time around. So, I mean, people, different strokes for different folks. They're going to want to see what's out there. So be proud of who you are as an agent if you're able to do this, and like embrace that and find your tribe.
Yeah, I agree. I also think like the difference between like what I know from other like entrepreneur spaces versus real estate is like, we tend to get really emotionally attached to the outcome. Like we tend to get emotionally attached, like to how our clients are going to respond to the other side's offer, like a counter offer, or we tend to get attached to whether or not they choose another agent over us. Like I see so many times it's like they chose their sister over me, or like it's my sister and they chose a totally stranger over me, and we tend to get like emotionally attached, where I have found that in a lot of other entrepreneur spaces that's actually not it's not as wrong as I've seen it in the real estate industry, which is just interesting to me.
It is interesting.
Yeah.
And I've actually been asked to go into other industries because, like, my business with its name and everything doesn't have to be totally real estate related. I could
Right.
sell, medical, medical devices or something. I could do whatever, right, with it. But I haven't I haven't looked into that. But I do think that there is something different. There is something different about real estate in general.
Right.
And it can like really be a blessing or a curse.
Right.
Depending on how you look at it.
Agreed. Oh, so many lives can be changed. We can change lives every day. Love it.
True.
What's the best compliment you've ever received?
Best compliment I've ever received. I don't know. That's interesting question. I mean, I had one person take the time out to say like, hey, like to write something long in a text message that was like, hey, you are so professional and like just such an awesome person to talk to. And even though I'm not selling my home right now, I just want the people that you work for to know how incredible it is that you are, taking time out of your day to like listen to people and whatever it was. Like, now, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to let somebody ramble on for 30 minutes about nothing. I have had to at times, but I'll try to get off the phone. But like, I don't know. My whole thing, like, I don't know how to be inauthentic. This is something when I started like buying other people's courses when I became an agent and I was like, oh, how do you follow up? I was immediately kind of like, maybe I know a little bit more than I thought I knew because that's not how I would approach it, right? And like, there's a lot of tactics out there to try, to try to get something out of someone, to try to maneuver into an appointment when maybe they're not ready or something like that. And I learned a lot of them and yeah, they work. Okay. They work. But you know what ends up happening is a lot of times, yeah, you can get in the door, but then where does it go from there? And when you push your way in the door and then they're not happy because they felt bullied into it, then they end up probably canceling, their listing agreement or going expired and not working with you and finding somebody else. So I say I just let people be who they are. I learn how to just have conversations and not be attached to the outcome too much because realistically, I know that the good is there and I'm looking for the good. I'm not focused on the bad. I'm not focused on the people that are negative. I'm not focused on the people that are telling me stop. Fine, tell me stop. I don't mind. Makes my life easier in the long run because I'm going to be focusing on the people that are actually ready to transact and want to talk to me. So
right. Love it. Okay. I think I might guess at least one of these answers to this question I'm going to ask you, but I could be wrong. If you could have dinner with 3 celebrities, who would you choose?
Oh, see, when people ask me this, it would definitely out me in certain political arenas.
Well,
Obama. I would
totally have lunch with Obama too, for sure. It doesn't mean that has nothing to do with politics. I don't think that should have anything to do with politics. I think that has to do with like he made a big influence. I mean, it could be politics. I don't know, but I don't think everyone would look at it that way.
Yeah.
Maybe they will. Who knows?
Okay, and then the other people would be Layla and Alex Hermosi.
Yeah.
Freaking love them.
Yep.
And I don't know. I think that's 3. Layla and Alex Hermosi and the Obamas. I guess that's 4.
I'm actually really surprised you didn't say someone like, Marshawn Lynch or some like football star.
Like, oh, well, I was thinking business wise to like glean into. Okay, wait, if we're talking like who do I want to hang out with? Hell yes, Marshawn Lynch.
Thank you.
All day, every day. Abso-freaking-lutely. Richard Sherman, Marshawn Lynch,
Doug Baldwin.
Like
that era of Seahawks was just such a good era of Seahawks. I don't even know who they are anymore. And I'm not the biggest football fan anyway, but that was a good era of the Seahawks.
Man, I'm telling you. Oh, Pete Carroll. No, that should be. I have to go back. I'll remove in Obama.
Okay.
Or just so I can meet Pete Carroll. You're right. Okay, that is absolutely. And honestly, Pete, I use his book to build my team, to grow my business. Like the way he builds a football team, I really think works in real estate and with entrepreneurs and with business. Cause like, it's looking at the good. It's like bringing out the best in people and nurturing that. And I love that.
Yeah. So speaking of which, what are 5 books that changed your life?
Ooh, 5 books that changed my life. Okay, I would say The Five Dysfunctions of a Team is one.
Yep.
Oh, there is this one that is, man, I can't remember, but I want to it might have been Atomic Habits. I used to have this app and now I don't think I have it. It had it on it. Um it might be the something levels of not giving an F too. There was I've read a lot of books.
The Art of Not Doing It.
Yeah, that one, I think. There was a book I really hated though, and I can't remember what it was called, but it was so cringe. I think I told you this a long time ago. It was on a list of like top 20 books for entrepreneurs, and it was so cringe. It was like so salesy, so ick that, ugh.
So don't read that one. Whatever one Sarah's talking about, don't read that one.
I can't remember what it was called.
Okay.
There's like 100 things to do, or I don't know. Anyways, yeah. Okay.
5 Dysfunctions of a Team, the Pete Carroll book.
Oh yes, yes, which is called Win Forever, and Win Forever.
I'm writing it down. I don't think I've read it. So I love 5 Dysfunctions of a Team, The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F.
Yes, that one too. That one's a really good one.
Okay. That's 3.
I have more at home. I like Blue Like Jazz. Blue Like Jazz was a really good book. I was really Christian when I read it though, so I don't know if I wasn't like that kind of super Christian. I don't know how to explain it. But yeah, Blue Like Jazz was a really good book I love a lot of books by Donald Miller, as a matter of fact. He's a really good author.
Yeah.
And do I need one more?
One more.
Okay, hold on. Let me look at my Audible because that might help, huh? Let's see, what do I have? Oh my god. Oh, I was listening to one recently called Why Woo Woo Works.
Interesting. I haven't heard that, but I actually would be interested in that.
Why Woo Woo Works. It's basically about the placebo effect and why, and it really comes down to, come on, like if we're gonna get into it, the law of attraction. What is that book? Well, what is that one that whole movie was based?
The Secret.
The Secret. Yeah. There you go. There's another one too. But yeah, and then I remember there was this book that I was given that was called Leadership and Self-Deception: Getting Out of the Box. But it's been so long since I read it, and I don't know.
You sent that book to me.
I did. See, so that's one that really mattered to me at one point in time, but I haven't read it recently.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good book. It was written in parable form. I love a book written in parable form. I think that it's more memorable that way. So yeah. Okay, so where can people get information about you? How can they contact you?
Yeah, so I would say not on Instagram because I turned my notifications off on Instagram because it's just too many notifications and you can't edit it, and it was like making my battery go down. It's a lot. So anyways, on Facebook, Sara Delansig. There's my name somewhere. There's my name.
It's over here. Go over to the left.
Oh,
right there.
Mine it's okay.
Yep.
Well, okay, it looks weird on mine. But anyways, and then my company is called The Inside Sales Agency. So you can go to theinsidesalesagency.com. You can book a call with me. On there, you can find me on TikTok, Sarah_the_ISA, and you could just follow Linnea and then follow me. I'm one of her friends. Yeah,
that's true. You can find Sarah through me too. So awesome, Sarah. Thank you so much. Is there anything you want to leave people with, like one last nugget that you want to leave people with before we sign off?
I have something that I could share. I have a quote that I like, which I think sums up who I am as a person. And it says, when you're honest and kind to people, they trust you more. When you're fair and own up to your mistakes, you get more respect. And when you put someone else's needs before your own, you get to be a part of their happiness as a result.
I love it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. This was fun.
Absolutely. Loved it so much. Thank you. And I will talk to you soon. Sara, thank you so much for sharing the truth about follow-up and mindset. If you take away one thing from today, please let it be this. Consistency is the ultimate conversions tool. Don't stop at the first call. The people who need you are just a few more touch points away. Now, I want to hear from you. What's one way you are going to improve your follow-up this week? Drop it in the comments and see what everyone else is doing, and I'll see you in the next episode.